All right, here we go. It is May 8th. So we are moving past, moving past is too strong a language. We are kind of continuing on with what we did yesterday, but with adding some new and different information to it. We've been talking a lot about the force put into something, talking about how mass goes into it. Different masses obviously then execute a different force because mass times acceleration. And so we looked at yesterday how our two paper airplanes, this little jet guy and this big boxy guy, are actually the same mass. And so we were seeing different friction on those because of the wind resistance. For those of you maybe weren't here or don't remember, this bigger one, what was the wind resistance like on this one? It is an actual question. Let's go ahead and try to answer that. Was the wind resistance greater or less than? So go ahead and raise your hand for greater for this one than the small one. Raise your hand for less than for this one than the small one. Okay, then the same question for the small one. Greater wind resistance, less wind resistance. All right, and we're going to be working with some of that friction stuff today as we're moving on. We're actually going to be getting out the spring scales, the Newton meters, trying to measure how much pull is going to be required for different masses. And so that is getting into measuring the force, considering the mass, considering the acceleration. We're going to be going with that slow acceleration, partially just because we don't want to break the spring scales, but that is going to allow us to see what it actually takes to overcome friction, similar to our washer design thing from Monday. So kind of, like I said, everything building within to kind of help us out and understand these concepts better. We're looking at the friction that we started with the washer concept on Monday, friction that we continued with the paper airplanes yesterday because of wind resistance, and then actually measuring force that it takes to overcome friction. So getting some actual measurements in here using the Newton meters. And I'll demonstrate a little bit, LiveMe will demonstrate a little bit in a minute how to actually use those. We're going to be using different masses around the room to kind of measure how those would work. Reminder again, our quiz for this unit should be coming up on Friday. It's Wednesday right now, so 2 days from now looking at the quiz. And obviously then we are on a Wednesday schedule today, so slightly shorter periods, but still trying to make sure we are getting everything done as best we can. Again, if anybody missed yesterday, you missed out on just a lab report that we turned in. Those of you that turned it in, we discussed how it's going to be an omelet grade based on how complete you did it. Since it was a we did it together. And so that should be pretty good grades for everybody. And I'm continuing to work on getting those last quizzes in so we can get those up to date before the next quiz comes up on this Friday. Thanks so much.